the edge rushers. So we ended up keeping 6 edge rushers on the squad. That's I feel like all position groups is kind of a lot, just based on what we've seen. We have more edge rushers than receivers, and that's kind of interesting. But so looking at things, so we've kept the 4 locks that we all thought were going to be was obviously Frank Clark, George Karlaftis, Carlos Dunlap, and Mike Danna. So those are always going to make the 53. Obviously, barring injury or any of that stuff, but those are the 4 guys who are locks. What a lot of people didn't think was going to happen was some of these second-year guys who did end up making the squad, and Malik Herring and Joshua Kaindoh. Herring had an amazing summer. If you looked at pretty much all the videos that came out of training camp, all the reports are coming out. Malik Herring looked so good, going up against a lot of our ones, and he looked amazing. Joshua Kaindoh, I haven't really heard much about him. A lot of up and downs, pretty much. Maybe some good things that came out of camp from him. I believe he had a sack in one of the preseason games. I think it was the Green Bay game, I believe. But you know, he's had up and down summer. So I was very surprised for him to make the 6, to round out the 6 starting or 6 edge rushers that we have on the squad. And obviously Veach is happy with what he's seen so far from him. So I have to ask you, JD, what do you think of the 6 edge rushers that we have? And were you surprised at all when you saw that list?
I mean, I was. I look, it's not personal against Kaindoh. It's not. It isn't. But as far as what I was seeing, he just didn't have it. He just didn't show enough to me, for him to be on the 53-man roster. For the simple fact that I'm looking over here and so my count, I'm gonna give you my count. This is what I looked at, training camp, what we was looking at 53-man roster as far as number wise. And so I had on here 8 D line, 6 DBs, 4 strong safeties, 6 linebackers. That gives 24. Okay. So the thing is, we don't have 6 linebackers, right? We only got how many? We got 4, right? 4 or 5.
Yeah, 5, I believe.
Yeah. So could we say that other D lineman or the defensive end, Kaindoh, took up a linebacker position, that I think that you could have possibly, and we talked about using Chanel as a guy, maybe as a rusher, hey, he could have been kind of that guy. Kaindoh, is he the run stopper, especially in this type of defense, right? And I know we're talking about rotation, getting guys in and stuff like that. I think the guys that we have at defensive end, are good guys. I think Carlos Dunlap, of course, Karlaftis. We got Danna, we got Frank Clark, and then we have who else? Who did I say?
Clark, Karlaftis, Dunlap, Danna, and then Herring and
Malik Herring. Yeah, so I like those guys. I just to me, Kaindoh is the guy that I didn't really see too much about. I didn't really see too much from him. And so I could be wrong. That's just my assessment. When I watch the games, I didn't really see too much. That could be like the same thing, me having the glasses on about Josh Gordon, and other people like, well, maybe he seen something. I don't know. Maybe he did. I'm looking at all the plays. And so when I looked at Josh, I'm looking at Josh getting open on different things. But then I look at Kaindoh, I didn't see any pressures. Did he get any pressures? I don't know this. Maybe somebody could tell me, send it in and tell me how many pressures he got. I know he had that one batted ball down, right? But that was him. He's 5 yards from the quarterback,
Mm-hmm.
So if you ain't getting a push, you jumping up to get the ball down. That's one of those plays. So maybe he's another guy that they didn't want to let go and, put somewhere that somebody might, grab him up. Or maybe they see the talent coming. Okay. Maybe they see something in him and saying, maybe flashes in practice.
Mm.
Maybe he'll come up against, maybe a different defense and, he'll be able to shine. Or maybe he's that guy that kind of is in that tweener, right? Who's kind of a pass rush, run stopper, big body type guy. He's a bigger body. So he's got that. I think he can hold up maybe against the run. We need somebody to get after the football, man.
Mm.
So he's another one. I need to see a little bit more from him. So he made a 53-man roster. Now he's got to make sure and he's got to show everybody why he earned that spot.
Mm.
Okay. Because if you don't, you're sitting over saying that you got, 5 linebackers. I don't know. That's a guy that you on special teams. We had some really good linebackers. Got rid of Lee. Lee was, I thought.
No, he actually he's going to be signing back to the active roster. I think they're doing something with an IR guy to bring him back on.
Okay. All right. Well, so then that'd be good. You bring him back on. So right. So I think somebody did say something like that.
Yeah, because as it stands now, there's four linebackers, and then I read a report that I believe with Blake Bell going to IR, he will be the one that goes to the he's the one who gets that spot to come back on. So linebackers will be Bolton, Willie Gay, Darius Harris, Leo Chenal, and then Lee's back in there. So that would be the 5th guy of the linebackers.
All right. So yeah. So you got 4 right now. He'd be the 5th linebacker.
Mm.
They talked about Carter. Carter, I don't know. He's limited in his covering the field. I seen that. Run stuff where he's going to be there, right? He's going to meet you in the hole. But as far as getting out there covering guys in space and stuff, that's what he's going to become a liability. So, but no, I'm just kind of getting back into it. I don't know if that was our last topic. I was just kind of talking about that. That was kind of like the shock to me because I was just like, oh, okay, wow, I didn't really see that. I thought maybe even pushing back to the practice squad. So,
yeah, and also another cool stat with I believe all the rookies that we drafted this year have made the team or practice squad. All the guys we brought in from the draft this year have made the active roster or the practice squad.
Oh yeah, well,
it goes to show you. I mean, hey, all those guys that panned out, and well, as at least right now, to make it to the final active roster or go to the practice squad. I mean, that's pretty because usually the 7th rounders are usually guys who don't make the team at all. They don't even go to practice squad.
Yeah, yeah. All right. I ain't gonna say too much about
it. Maybe saying panned out's a little bit of a stretch.
Yeah, look, man. Hey, listen. So sometimes you want to be known as the hitter, right? That you got every pick right, and that you want to make that's who you are. I get it. I get all part of that, and that if you choose a guy, you choose a guy for a reason, and so you want to be able to make it consistent. So I don't know if it's the ego playing into it, like, hey, we got all our guys, every guy that we drafted, is on our squad. He's gonna contribute, right? So I don't know.
Yeah, no,
maybe to me that's just like somebody thought sneakily, like, yeah, okay, all right, I see it. I see maybe there's a little bit there, but hey, look, ain't nothing wrong with it. Shoot, have a little ego about your picks, right? If you got the guys, you support them for a reason. Support the guys for a reason, right? I ain't mad at it. I ain't mad at it at all.
Yeah. I mean, I remember just a couple of years ago. I think it was it Veach's draft? It might have been one of Veach's first drafts or one of Dorsey's last drafts. But anyway, we drafted Kabari Russell, who didn't make it out of training camp. He was a 3rd round pick. Didn't make it out of training camp. He got cut. He was one of the guys who got cut and didn't make it. I mean, I think I look at specific examples like that. Obviously stands out in my mind. You don't really see 3rd round guys not make it. They usually they are going to benefit the doubt because of where they're drafted. And he didn't make the team, but but yeah, and seeing I think also too we were so young, specifically secondary, because we drafted a lot of guys in the secondary. Cook, Jalen Watson, and then Joshua Williams, and then also Najee Johnson, where all those guys made the team, whether practice squad or in or the active roster. Where it's like Najee Johnson, for example, who we're going to have on the show next week. He's practice squad guy, but one of the last weeks of practice, he was playing with the ones. I mean, he was rotating with the ones. It's like, all these guys are getting so much playing time.
Dude, look, I like those guys. I think those guys like young secondary, no doubt about it. And I think all of them have the skill set. I think they do really well. I do. I think they're challenging, the receivers. And I think they talk to each other. You could just kind of tell. You could just see like the chemistry they have with one another when they're out there. And so I do like that. I think Najee did a good job. All those guys did. All the young guys. And to me, I think DB is one of those things. If you put a young guy in, he's either sinking or he's swimming.
Yeah.
That's just how it works in the NFL. You're going to find out who you got real quick. Okay. Especially DB. So, it's one of those things I think as far as position wise. So, okay, we got to test this guy right now for the simple fact that is one of the hardest positions on the football field. Corner, safety, that secondary is a tough mother to play for real. Okay. That's why I was going to get paid the big bucks. That's why guys talk all that noise and smack. So they know, because they know it's tough back there. I respect it 100%. So, yeah.
Yeah, and plus having the young secondary, those guys. I mean, they're going to take their lumps early. They'll learn the game fast. But I feel like having such a young secondary, young linebacking core, I think, by the time we get to week 8, week 9, they're going to be ready to go. I mean, they're not going to be ready to go right out the gate, but I think there's going to be a bit of a learning curve there. And then I think by the time week 8, week 9 comes around, those guys are going to be very mature by that point.
Dude, man, they're going to have some heavy hitters. That's a good thing about it, man. They're going to be challenged real early with the guys that they're going against. So, like I said, you test them guys early to see, what they're going to be able to do. Those guys have confidence. You got to test the confidence to see where they are. Yeah. And so if they do mess up and something does happen to them, and it's not, they got to learn from their failures to make them better. That's why I wouldn't really. Everybody was talking about how rough Josh Williams had during the third outing. To me, I was like, man, look, hey, get it out now. Yeah. Challenge it right now. Like I loved him being that physical on receivers and stuff. I love it, because it's just going to help him out later on down the road, like you said. So got some good ones on our hand, man.
One story that came out about Josh Williams is the fact that Spags had said that the one thing he loved about him was the fact that if he makes a mistake sometimes during practice, he'll come up and to Spags, talk to him about it, and then he's not doing that. Whatever he's doing wrong on that play, he's not doing that again the second time. He's learning from that mistake right away, and that's one thing that stood out about him for Spags was the fact that he's learning from the mistakes and not letting it affect him on the next time. Once it happens once, if he says something to him, that doesn't happen again. That's one thing he likes about him.
That's good, man. It means he wants to get better. It means he's paying attention, he's coachable, and he wants to get better. So you can ride with a guy like that all day long, so yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, I like that. I like that a whole lot, man. I think our defense is gonna look good. I do. I think D-line is gonna look good, secondary is gonna look good, linebackers are always gonna be exceptional what they got. And so offensively, I think we'll do a good job too. Everything this year, what we have in the 53-man roster looks like a great football team. And so I don't see any team out there that we need to be afraid of and say, oh, we're this right here might be our weak point. I don't see that at all. I think we got a solid team up and down, man. I really do. And so this 53-man roster, I'm really pleased with who we have. I like it.
So lastly before we go, do you think Kaindoh gets a sack this year? So over under 0.5 sacks.
Yes. Over. Yes. He'll get. You know what? Yes. I'm gonna leave it alone. I was gonna say something. I'm like, he's gonna fall into one now. He'll. I think. Think so, man. Like I said, I'm not really here to, to bash a guy. I'm not really here to bash a guy. All I'm saying to Kaindoh is, man, hey, show your worth. You're on the squad. You got the 53, man. Show it. Show your worth, man. Prove us all wrong. Shoot, prove me wrong. I'm here. I'm cheering for you. I am. Believe me. I'm cheering for you. Okay? Just give it to him. All right? Every single day. We out here. It's a privileged position. And that's for everybody. It's 53-man roster. Tough. Get rid of guys. You guys survived. You guys made the cut. And now it's time to show it. Now it's time to show why you're on the 53-man roster.
Yeah.
Okay? Don't disappoint.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out the best clips from Chief Concerns. And if you prefer to listen to the show, subscribe and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else you get podcasts.